Hi, I'm Jill Dailey, founder of the Dailey Method. This is a short core workout that you can do anytime on its own or marry it with the glute or the arm workout for a full body workout. Start with your feet hip distance apart and start presencing yourself in your workout with a few deep breaths. Inhale and exhale. I like to think about as you lift your arms up of dropping the bottom rib down, so you're right away thinking about keeping your core stabilized as you're working into movement. One more time. Take a breath in. You're gonna start going into what we call root and rebounds. Bend your knees, put your hands to the floor, chin to your chest, lengthen your legs, bend your knees deeply, and then lift up. Now pick it up. You take it down and reach, bend, and lift. So we have two of my favorite people here in the room today. We have Caroline Stein. She is a teacher here at the Dailey Method in Fairfax, and Valerie Goffin, who also is very experienced in what they're doing. Extend. So you see as they're moving, they're getting a lot of mobility through their spine. This is gonna start giving you that back body stretch, warming your body up. You might, if you need a little more time to warm up, be careful about not straightening your legs all the way. Just listen to your body as you work out. Just two more times. Lengthen and lift one more time. Now lengthen your legs, stay down. Take a breath in and reach your heart forward. So you're actually trying to get a little extension in your spine here. And then walk your hands forward. You're gonna come into an all fours plank. So hands on the floor, fingers spread wide. Hands are just shoulder distance apart. Your knees are directly underneath your hips. Now find an emphasis of neutral spine. So you're gonna inhale and reach your tailbone and your head away from each other. But what really helps you find neutral is the energy of breathing the rib cage up, the back of the skull up. Stabilize there and lift your knees up off the floor. So if at any time you need to reset, just put your knees back down. But this is finding a little bit of a load for the abdominals here. Start getting a little more warmth there. But they're doing so much work of the back body up to the ceiling. People think of their core, they just think about it as your abdominals, but your core goes all the way around you. You really need that support. Lift the back of the skull to the ceiling, press your rib cage to the ceiling, and then lengthen the tailbone wide. Now start tapping your knees to the mat and lift, to the mat and lift. Every time you lift your knees up, pull up through the center line and feel an engagement through the pelvic floor. You just have four more. 3, 2. Last one, hold the knees just hovering off the ground. Take one more breath to elongate your spine. One more breath to hug the hip points narrow, and then set your knees down. Straighten your legs out behind you. You're gonna come into a forearm plank. So put one elbow down, other elbow down, keeping your forearms parallel with one another. Find that same energy of reaching the crown of the head forward, tailbone and heels back now, but then the back body pressing up to the ceiling. There's a lot of strength of pressing the thigh bones up to the ceiling as you work here. Step your feet wider than your hips. You're gonna start tapping into the obliques a little bit. Tap your right knee to the floor and straighten it out. Tap your left knee to the floor, straighten it out. Now go right, straighten, left, straighten. Nice. So the pelvis is completely stable here as you do this. You're hugging your hip points narrow. Yes, really nice. And you should feel that lift up in the obliques. Taking your legs a little wider is gonna challenge the obliques a little bit more. Just 4 more on each side. 2, 3, one more time. Hold both legs straight for one more breath. Inhale, heels and head reach away from each other. Exhale, hip points hug narrow. Let your hips come down to the ground. Bring your legs towards each other and push the top of the feet into the floor. Feel a spin of the inner thighs to the ceiling. We're gonna do some spine extension work here. And keep your feet rooted down. Try to press your hip points into the floor to lift your waist up, and then just lift your torso up, hold. Hands off the floor, lift and hold. So right now, they're working the back muscles, they're working the spinal extensors, but they're using their feet for foundation. So as they lift up, they still have some support. They're also using their hip points for foundation by rooting down and keeping the abdominals engaged. Reaching the crown of the head forward. Just 4 more times. 3, 2, one more time. Hold that. Sweep your arms around behind you and push your hands down into the floor. You're finding a little more foundation there. Now lift your legs up. your legs lift up and hold. Up and hold. Now really straight legs. Energize the toes away from you. Engage the quadriceps. And you're lifting from the base of the seat. Lift and hold. Just 4 more times. 3, 2, hold the legs up. Now lift the arms up too. Hug the arms in towards each other. Take a breath in, get everything longer. Exhale, lift everything higher and release it down. Hands underneath your shoulders. Press yourself up into, I guess come onto your knees. Slide your hands forward and go into extension. So you're gonna get a little opening extension through the thoracic spine here. And then pull back into a child's pose. Give yourself that ease and space through your low back here. Tailbone reaching towards your heels. I wish I was there at home with you to do this for you. And then go ahead and roll up through your spine, setting up for high C curve. You're gonna start taking your spine into flexion now. You were just in extension. So hug your knees together. Take a breath in, get really tall, and then pull back on the knees and tip your pelvis under, weighting your sacrum down. Take your hands behind your thighs and sink down a little lower. Now tip your hips forward, curl your ribs up. Tip and curl. Nice. So the focus, the emphasis here is about creating a lot of length in the back body, but all this corset support in the front body. So the goal is to try to get their hips and their ribs closer together and more space through the back. Now hold it back where you can stabilize. Lift your heels up off the floor and just drag your toes in an inch, out an inch. I really like this variation because you can focus on just hugging hip point to hip point, which is what engages the deepest layer of your abdominal muscles, your transverse abdominis. Keeping that stability, hugging in. You can even use your hands on your hips and press inward, and that'll help you feel that a little bit more. Or if you'd like a little bit more challenge, reach your arms forward. I knew you would take that. Go in. Yes, 4 more times. 3, 2, 1 more. Hold it in. Set your feet down. Take your hands behind your thighs. You're gonna roll back 2 counts and roll up. So now you're finding a little bit more range of motion in your spine. Roll back. Lift up 2 more times. Now roll back and find the low point that you can stabilize here. Bring your arms to your side. That's a little too low. You're still in high C curve. Squeeze your inner thighs together, elbows by your side. Reach your arms up and down. Now again, if this is too challenging for you to do, you can do as Carolyn's doing right here and just one arm, so she's still stabilizing, or just don't move your arms. You just have 4 more times. 3, 4, hug the elbows in. Find external rotation of the upper arm bone. Breathe your jawline back, hold 4, 3, 2, hold on to your legs. Now you're gonna try to roll down to your low back and all the way down to put your head down and then roll up. So you can see Valerie's finding this mobility in her spine. She can roll all the way down. Caroline's spine is a little bit tighter. She's incredibly strong. She's been doing this for years and years. She puts me to shame in some exercises, but all of our bodies are different. So you have to work with where you are at each day and with each exercise. So just 2 more times. And the last time you are gonna roll all the way down onto your back and lie down. Flat back on the floor. Rock your pelvis back and forth a little bit. You can just start with your arms by your side. Rock your pelvis back and forth. And what you wanna do is find neutral spine here. So you're gonna feel your sacrum rooted down. Your low back might be off the floor a little bit, but then get a lot of length in your spine. Sometimes I even try to wiggle my tailbone further away from my head. Root your shoulder blades and your ribs into the floor and your head into the floor. Now stabilizing that position of your spine, take all the muscles of the back body and push them down into the floor. Lift your heels up off the floor and bring your toes in an inch and out an inch. You might remember this variation, you just did this. So this exercise really focuses on strengthening the muscles that stabilize your spine in neutral, which is your transverse abdominis and your back muscles. So they're actively pushing the muscles of their back down, They're not tucking under to push their low back down. They're keeping their spine in neutral and they're engaging the muscles backwards. Just like when you're in a plank and you're pressing the muscles upward toward the ceiling to keep that stability. Ribs stay knit together and rib energy. It helps me a lot to focus on the rib energy rooting down to find that stability. Just 3 more times. 2. Now hold it there. Take a breath in, root your back body down again and lift your legs up. Hug your legs together. You're gonna slowly move your legs away from each other, away from you, and then back. You take them out to your challenge zone, and then back off just a little bit. To your challenge zone, back off. So root ribs down, hug waist in. Go out and pull in, yes. Just 4 more times. 3. Now last time, hold the legs out. Reach your legs straight. Take a breath in, find a little more length. Exhale, root the back body down again, and now focus just on your abdominals. Press your navel down into the floor, and then press your ribs down into the floor. 1 more time, press your navel down into the floor. Just this isometric hold can be so challenging, I know. Press your ribs down into the floor. Keep your legs there and curl your upper body off the floor and grab the back of your legs. Taking your spine into flexion now from the rib cage up and over, just a little up curl. Curl up, curl up. Chest is wide. This can be challenging for some people because of the flexibility in their upper back. So just work where you're at. If you take the legs away from you, that can help actually bring you up a little bit higher. That weight helps you curl up higher. It's up, hold, up, hold. Just 4 more here. 3, 2. Now hold the up position. Bend your knees, let your feet come to the floor, hip distance apart. See if you can curl up a little higher from there. We're gonna get a little rotation in the spine and some oblique work, elbows to the floor. Punch right and left. Oh, either way. Yeah, just reach. Hip points stay rooted down into the floor. So you're keeping your pelvis stable as you do this, as you rotate up and over and away from it. Reach, reach. Four more each side. 3. Let's see who can punch a little harder. 2. I think you'd win. 1 more time. Grab your legs. No, I'd win. Take a breath and reach really long. Exhale, curl up and snap your waist down to the floor. You have an 8 count hold. Option to reach your arms forward here. This is 5, 6, 7, and lie down on your back. You're gonna stretch out your abdominals by coming up into a shoulder bridge. So press your hips up, walk your arms underneath you. Feel the energy of pressing the arms down into the floor as you lift your hips up a little bit higher, beautiful. Curling your heart back to the wall behind you. Taking 1 more inhale of length, exhale of height, and then slowly articulate down 1 vertebra at a time, finding that mobility through your spine. Hug your knees into your chest and rock to come up to sitting for 1 more stretch. Find a little internal rotation of the thigh bone and the pelvis. That's gonna help get your thigh bone stable. Reach your arms forward, inhale, lift, hinge your body forward. And then you can grab a hold of your feet. If you can't grab a hold of your feet, hold on to your ankles. And you're gonna reach the heart forward first, pressing your thigh bones down, and then allow your body to forward fold over your legs. Chin to your chest. Use your abdominals, roll up through your spine, and cross your legs. Find a comfortable seated position. Hands on top of your knees, sits bones rooted down. Close your eyes. Take a breath in. As you feel the sits bones root down and you inhale, find length through your spine. And then as you exhale, let your forehead release, your jaw release, your shoulders release. Just take a moment to appreciate yourself for taking time for you today. Thank you.